We're going to talk today actually about how gratitude shapes and creates smarter investment decisions. So we are all of 14 days before Thanksgiving, or as a lot of people in this country, we're only 15 days in front of Black Friday shopping. I don't know which is more exciting to you, but I am very excited about the fact that this country celebrates Thanksgiving. And I think it's very important to pause and reflect, not just on that day, but I would argue every day, about what do we appreciate? What do we have gratitude for in our lives? And one of the great things about this country is our economic and financial systems that allow people that are disciplined to have the potential, extreme potential for financial security and financial growth. And it's important to be grateful for things. And sometimes it is things such as the roof over our heads, or maybe something that we've gone and done. But I also think more importantly, it's being grateful for the people that are in our lives, that touch us and that we are allowed to touch them in meaningful and positive ways. Gratitude isn't just about recognizing what we have. It's about recognizing what we're building. When we invest, we're showing gratitude to our future selves. We're saying, I value the opportunities that I've been giving and I want to grow these responsibly. This is why it's so important, I believe, that young people have a real clarity about not just living for today, but if they can learn to save at the front end and then spend everything else, what they're going to do is build over the long run. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. It's called compounding. But what happens is money goes from being an end, so we want to build up more money, to being a tool that allows us to have an impact, not just on our own lives, but others. And here's the good news. You don't have to be wealthy to start to invest. You just have to be thankful for what you have. And as I mentioned just a minute earlier, if we really focus upon the savings and being grateful for the things that are coming in and being able to put those to work with purpose. So let's talk about what is investing. At its core, investing simply means putting your money to work, where it actually is earning money on your behalf. And I want you to think a little bit of it like baking. The savings part of this is actually the ingredients. We need to have flour, right, in the pantry. We need to have the yeast. We need to have butter. We need to have some oil and some different things in order to create the dough. And I want you to think of that as money that's in your checking or savings account. And particularly, I want you to think about it as having an emergency savings account. That's very critical that we have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses set aside for if we have an emergency. I have well guys showing up tomorrow so we can replace the motor at the bottom of a well, and that's going to be $6,300. Right up there with spending money on a water heater. But, having the money set aside to be able to take care of the emergencies and take care of the day-to-day challenges is very critical to our long-term success. Where investing becomes different than just having the ingredients. Investing is when we put all those ingredients together, take all the measurements and put them in the oven and trust that we're going to have a positive outcome coming out of the oven. And that's where trust is where gratitude really lives. It's having a faith in the process and understanding that growth takes time. I really want to talk about this and the fact that when we invest with intention, we're not gambling. Okay. We're expressing an appreciation for opportunities that we've been given and have confidence in time and discipline, that time and discipline can make the positive actions happen. I would argue that it makes the magic happen. I had a client that I was meeting with yesterday and said, my gosh, the account has gone up significantly. And I'm like, well, it's because you've saved a significant amount of money. And when you have a 10% rate of return on a large amount of money, it tends to be a lot more money, but you've got to take the steps in order to get there. So let's talk about the building blocks of growth. Okay. And the first one is in diversification. And I mean this in a couple of different ways. Ryan was going over earlier the different sectors that we look at. And then we had a great presentation about what quantum computing is going to mean in the future and the opportunities there. And we want to be diversified to where we're taking opportunities And Ryan and Will are just expert in looking for these and seeing the existing trends of what's going on, and we want to participate in that. But also we want to have a balance of things. Our financial lives are not just the IRAs or the retirement accounts or the checking account. It's also making sure that we have estate plans, that we have, if we're out there and we're buying a house, how is that financed? How we got our cash flow going? How does our cash flow look in regards to our balance sheet? And we want to have all of these things within a balance so that when you look at all of this, it's in balance with your goals and your values in life. So we're going to talk about how to make investing simple and how to get started with gratitude. And very simply, start small. Literally, unless you've inherited money or hit the lottery, we all start small. And I think this makes us thankful for it. I think back to when I started investing in my early 20s, and $20 it still is a big deal, but it's not nearly as big a deal as it was back in the early 80s. Want to connect with professionals. One of the things that I think I've done a very good job of in my life is reaching out to people that know more than I do and recognizing that and listening to that. And we want to find the professionals that meet our mindset. There are different professionals out there. I'm thinking attorneys that will press different things and give you very aggressive advice. And there's other attorneys out there that will give you less aggressive, but what I consider to be more sound advice. That goes for financial advisors. It goes for insurance agents. It goes for doctors and just about any kind of profession you can think about. Finding the right profession. Automate your savings, okay? And this is a great part about technology today is we can automate and make repetitive contributions into savings accounts and IRAs and all kinds and set up our mortgage payments automatically. Be consistent and be on time. Everybody talks about having a great credit score. If you're consistent with your payments, you'll have a great credit score. It's just going to happen. And then watch it rise. And the great part is you're going to get monthly statements and take a look at those things, but watch it and appreciate what's going on now. Also, the power of time and compounding, and we're getting a little bit deep on time, so I'm going to be real quick with this. If you put money to work for a reasonable rate of interest and you do this over the long run, you will be absolutely amazed at what your money grows to. And I speak from a great deal of knowledge on this because I did start young. I've compounded money over a long run. And all of a sudden, like 30 years went by, 40 years, you're looking at significant amounts of financial freedom. And I really want to focus mainly on taking action. We want to have gratitude in motion. And that means knowing why you need to invest, starting small, staying thankful for things, and celebrating the progress. And I really want to focus on that for just 1 second. When you see things, when your account balances go past certain numbers, 10,000, 50,000, whatever that is, celebrate that. Closing on a house, enjoy those times. Take a moment to pause and celebrate in a way that's most important to you. And I finally want to leave you with just this one last thing. What's something that your money has already allowed you to do that you are thankful for? I think of kids and grandkids and things that I've been able to do in my life, very important things that I've been able to do with my wife and friends. And this is what I believe is most important about your finances. Anything we can do to help with this, want to be able to do that.